Okay, we should be recording. Good morning, Carmel.
Good morning, Tyler.
Good to see you. So just a quick recap on what this is here. This is, with COVID, in this era of COVID, we don't get together as often. And so we've been doing a lot more meetings over the Zoom. And so we thought, why don't we record these and, let our friends and clients and our sphere of influence see what we're talking about and kind of have this like frontline report about real estate in Portland metro area. So that's what we're gonna do. Kind of see how the sausage is made. So one thing I want to say today is it's nice to be able to breathe again. This has been.
Oh, that was awful. That was really awful. I did not do so well during that.
No, I mean besides just the smoke being on us for so long, but having these fires rage, and it's just so scary, like what people were having to go through, and so close to home. I mean, both you and I both live in Clackamas County, and we do a lot of work in Clackamas County, and we had a lot of clients and friends that had to evacuate, and
yeah, my dad had to evacuate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, scary stuff. And I really appreciate all the firefighters and the frontline workers and what went on there. And I'm just glad that the smoke has finally cleared out of here and I can breathe again.
Yeah, that blue sky after the smoke had cleared, I think everybody kind of stopped and just looked to appreciate that. That was.
Yeah. But one thing on the real estate front we got to keep in mind is there is some issues that can come up with these areas being declared as disaster zones with financing. So if you're currently in a transaction, I mean, we've been in touch with our lenders on every transaction we're working on, but if you're currently in a transaction, if you're doing an FHA loan, I think that they are at this point, if you're in any of these disaster zone areas, you're going to have to cough up the money to have it re-inspected. So they're having an appraiser go back out and make sure that the home is still there. I think even conventional financing, depending on where you're located, might require a re-inspection, or at least hopefully you can get away with like a picture or a time stamp picture or something. So talk to your agent or to us or to your lender and make sure if because you don't want any hiccups at closing. And unfortunately, there might be some costs associated with it, but the banks are going to be requiring that
it might delay your closing. Even if you're within 20 miles of the fire, your house will be affected with these new re-inspect appraisals. Yeah. So talk to your realtor. And also, speaking of realtors, the Oregon Association of Realtors has grant money. So if you were displaced or something happened to your house, you can apply for a grant to help cover your mortgage or your rental. And also, if you want to donate to the Wildfire Relief Fund, the Windermere Foundation is collecting money to take and give to wherever it's needed, the Red Cross and things like that. So we'll put the links in the comment if you know someone who wants to apply for that or wants to donate.
Great. Excellent. Everyone, more help, the better. I'll tell you, between the wildfires, this pandemic, Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing away, like everything is just, I mean, I don't think 2020 could get, the good news is I don't think it could get any worse. I mean, we've just been through, the hits just keep on coming.
I've got some bad news for you, Tyler. The city of Milwaukie is actually going to start requiring home energy scores on all new sales. I knew you wouldn't like that.
Oh God! I'll tell you something. About the home energy score. I saw that and I just could not believe it. I think it's just the silliest thing. It is so silly. So we've been doing these home energy scores in Portland. In the city of Portland, anytime you sell a house, you got to cough up $150 to do this home energy assessment. Basically, you pay some dude or dudette to come to your house, and they spend an hour like measuring the windows, seeing how much insulation you have in the attic, what kind of heat source you have, and then they give you a score between 1 and 10. Okay, and 1 being an inefficient house, and 10 being a very efficient house, like energy efficiency. And better for the environment, or its impact is better for the environment.
Yeah, well, it sounds great in theory, but unfortunately it doesn't translate very well to the actual efficiency of your house, because it has a lot to do with square footage and.
Yeah, I think the square footage is probably the biggest part of the equation. It seems to me, at least, and and the score doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like as I work with buyers and we go into a house, I say the home energy score is a 5. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything to most buyers. And in the last 2 months, I'm in contract on one right now, and we sold one maybe 3 weeks ago that both were 10 scores, the highest score you can get. And I was surprised. They were older homes and pretty good size. So I was surprised that they got a 10. But it was an afterthought for the buyers. They're like, oh yeah? Oh, good. And then I'll go show a house to a buyer that has a score of 1. And what do they say? It's like, oh yeah, it's an old house. Like there's no solar panels on this. Like, why would I think? So why the city of Milwaukie is doing this, because it's silly. I mean, it's just silly.
Tell them how you feel, Tyler. Tell them how you feel.
Because we saw in Portland that it has had 0 impact. I mean, it really is.
I agree.
Meaningless. It's meaningless. And we should be focusing our resources on things that work and aren't silly. And this is silly. But keep in mind, going forward, if you're selling your house in Milwaukie, you're going to have to get a home energy score. And we'll walk you through
starting October 1st.
October 1st. And it's like $125 to $150 in that range. And we're in an affordability crisis, and they just are making it a little more expensive to sell a home. That doesn't make any sense to me, but we both live in Milwaukie and we love Milwaukie. We just don't like this policy in Milwaukie. The home energy score is just so silly. Well, I'm in a bad mood now. Thanks, Carmel.
Sorry, Tyler. I thought it's best to get it out,
Yeah, but I think that's a good recap. Our thoughts are with people who lost their homes or got, during these wildfires all over the West Coast. And thank you to the first responders and the firefighters. Let us know if you need any resources for donating or if you need some help. And talk to your lender if you're in contract right now, and make sure there's no surprises at the end. And home energy scores are coming to Milwaukie October 1st.
And rest in peace, RBG.
And rest in peace, RBG. All right, Carmel. Well, I will talk to you again soon. And let's help people make their real estate dreams come true, okay?
Every day.
Every day. All right. Talk to you soon.